Hello,
Hello, Danielira.
how are you?
Very good, very good. Today we're going to start with I got into it immediately. Today we're going to start a painting, and you were fixing some of Chili's toys recently
Yes.
because she can't have toys where she eats the like furry hair.
Like
Sometimes,
fuss,
yeah,
yeah.
sometimes some toys have like fuzzy hair. So you were very diligent at fixing that, taking it all out and then re-sewing the toys, which honestly you're amazing for doing that. I would have just taken scissors and taken all the hair out.
Because then you just break the toy
Yeah, but
and then it's unusable. So
yeah, my justification would be like Chili was gonna break it eventually, so I'm just gonna give it a head start.
I think you would just get a new one
I
because I
would
know
get
you.
one without hair, yes.
Yes.
So while you were doing that, you were in the sofa and you were sewing, and I just thought it looked amazing. This is probably uh, if it is a more recent shout out to another painting that I did of you with multiple arms.
Yes.
It has to be that one where you're like a sort of Salome praying mantis with
Mhm.
like my severed head on your lap, and you're like kind of like poking the eye out or something. I don't know. So it would be um, kind of like in that universe, although I'm not going to do anything in terms of color. I don't think I'm going to be doing anything very strange with color. I want to do just rhythm, and I want it to be about repetition and rhythm. So maybe a more abstract painting than the one I did of you as like praying mantis.
Mhm.
Um,
So you want to emphasize in like movement?
Probably these, for example, because I was taking pictures of you, you weren't posing. You were just like doing what you were doing. So a lot of these are in the photos. They're very blurry, very very blurry. Particularly these two, because those were the ones that you were pulling the string. Um, and I want to keep. I actually like the fact that they were blurry, so that it pushes me to be very expressive and just very gestural with how I'm going to attempt to solve it. Um, and Yeah, but I do think that it's cooler to do something that's a little more, let's say, abstract in that sense rather than descriptive. And it probably has some of the roots that you know, that I was very um, I was enjoying very much when I was painting, these sort of images. I wouldn't say this would be one of those images, but it would certainly fall into that category, let's say. But it's very akin to those images that I did, I don't know, like 15 years ago, maybe, where I was just repeating stuff, especially with like limbs. I don't know why it was so satisfactory for me to do repetition of limbs. Perhaps because it gave me a chance to repeat hands. I think that I was very capricious about just repeating hands. So arms are attached to hands, and I had to solve them in some way. But yeah, so this is probably closer to those paintings that people thought that I was going to be that painter. A lot of people thought that that was going to be the thing that I was going to do from now on, and it was going to be the thing that people would get to know me by, just the person who repeated a lot of stuff, while painting. I don't know, but I ended up stopping some of those exercises. Not to say that if you stop something means that you can't ever do it again. Like I think it just organically kind of found its way into my painting again while you were doing this, and it's very playful. So you have instead of having like symmetrical arms as if you were like like spinstress, like Arachne, or that mythological figure, or like like a spider. you have two left hands are right. You have two left hands and four right hands. So you're less sinister than you are righteous, I guess. Um, but yeah. So kind of unbalanced. You know, there's a big sort of diagonal shape here. Uh, but I kind of like it. I thought about doing something that it could look like you know, like a multi-armed, more, you know, classical symmetrical composition. But I thought this would look really nice. So yeah, we're gonna go for that, but we're gonna attempt to do a block in, a very I would say almost like a sketch like block in. So or study like block in. So saddened that I don't have as big a brush as I would have wanted, but it's okay.
Do you want to check out the ones I have? If
Oh, it's
maybe.
okay. It's okay. Like these are fine. I mean, I wish it was a little bit bigger, about half the size
I think
bigger.
I can check if I have. I mean, they're not like super good quality brushes, but
No, but these are okay.
okay.
Honestly, these are gonna be okay.
Oh, you know what you don't have? Paper
Um,
towels.
no, I do. Thank
Okay,
you.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, I have them down there. So we're gonna kind of approach it as if it was just like a looser sketch, let's say. Um, which you know, some people would say, well, why did you have like all this, you know, semi kind of illustrative drawing? You know, a drawing that would sort of tell a story or would be specific enough to understand sort of like the nuances that are gonna make up the you know the whole of your image, the parts that make up the whole. Why are they so described? And I've often tried to explain this, but and I don't know if it makes sense, but it doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense to anyone else but me. But sometimes I feel like drawing can be just like an introduction to something that you're trying to solve. It doesn't have to be, you know, the beginning of you paving the way towards, you know, something that's definitive. It can be something as an encounter, as a first encounter. For example, as happened yesterday with that underdrawing and then the adjustments that were done while we were painting. In this one, there's going to be things like that are going to happen. I thought that by straightening some decisions, it would make for a better painting. And now I'm noticing that maybe the decisions that I took, um, I'm not super happy with. There's an angle to this portrait, for example, that is okay, but the the actual portrait that I'm looking at in the reference is far more angled, and I thought about straightening it because I thought that it, you know, that at least the core of the composition. So let's imagine this in like this totem like spine that would be you know the center of the composition would could be fairly symmetrical. Your hips are actually at an angle, but you know there's a very obvious sense of where the axis is and how you know the two sides of that, you know, two opposite sides to that axis, they compare to each other. um, so you can find two shoulders that are going to be, you know, important for that gesture. There's actually going to be a slight angle to those shoulders, but you kind of have to uncover them a little bit. But anyways, so I thought of straightening this out a little bit. This hand is actually comes at an angle, but I, you know, straighten it a little bit. But I kind of actually like that the arm goes like the arm goes like this in this direction, and then it just shifts to that angle. Um, but for example, the hand, I also straighten it, this one. So I thought that my center axis would have to be somewhat symmetrical. So I actually made some decisions there to have these sort of straighter marks. And I'm not so sure if that's a better decision, or if doing that made for something better. I think it makes for something a little bit stiffer here, which is okay, I guess. It would center your attention more here if you would get like these little tangents that would be perpendicular to each other. But when I'm looking at my picture, what I'm thinking is there's also like a more organic feel, like a rested feel
Yeah.
to to the pose when this head just kind of tilts to the side and this hand just tilts like that.
And
I think
also,
I'm gonna keep that one
I'm
though.
sorry, also
Yeah,
how
please go ahead.
you can see, I mean, by inclining the head,
Mm-hmm.
you can see like the diagonal more organically from the hand to the shoulder.
Yeah.
Sí, no, codo, ¿cómo se dice?
Oh, elbow.
Elbow. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. So from top to
Okay.
the
Oh, okay. So
elbow,
you
it
mean
can
this?
be.
You mean
Yeah, yeah,
this?
yeah. I think
Okay, the
it's
bigger one.
more. It's not like broken,
Right, right, right.
but
Yeah.
it's like
Mm.
smooth, like
Yeah.
a smooth read. I don't know. I like that.
Yeah. So those changes are going to happen today, but they're not going to happen in like a specific sense. They're going to happen in a very big, broad sense. So what does that mean? Um, I am going to tip the head, but what is going to make it evident that I'm tipping the head is that the axis of the head, where you part your hair, those like that those shapes I can paint. So this little edge that was parting your hair, I can move it to the side, and then you would have that little, kind of light in the middle that comes from parting your hair. That's going to tell you what the axis of the head is going to be like super quickly, because a lot of this is like sort of in shadow. It's kind of burrowed in this portrait is kind of burrowed into the shoulders, framed by the darkness of the hair. So so there's not a ton of information here that would give you a sense of where that bigger axis is. Um, and we have just a little bit of light here on cheekbone and cheek, and then just a little bit of light coming in a kind of awkward shape of light. I'm sorry, coming into the nose. So that's going to be interesting. I guess it's going to be more about. I mean, the portrait is going to be so this is probably and I'm trying to picture this as I'm describing it. So this is probably why I'm more tempted to incline the portrait. It's cuz um the painting does need a portrait, and I think it's going to be like a little not so tender moment, but maybe more pensive moment right here. But the painting can be a lot about the abstract gestures of the hands. So I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of what happens here, which is very nice right now. But not every painting with a figure in it has to be about what's happening inside the portrait. So it can be about something else. So we're going to try to solve that simply first. So the purpose for today is to cover the whole thing, which is a large painting. If you look at my hand, it's a large-ish painting. So saying that we need to cover this, it's not like this super easy task, but it is easier if your mindset is to cover the painting instead of just trying to be super super careful about it. I am going to be way more careful when I try to re-establish my drawing. So that's going to be the moment where I am going to be more sensitive. So I just need enough clues today as to what my painting is going to look like, and then after that I can feel like I'm working in a good enough on top of a good enough basis that that then I can just go for like specifics. But this is not the time to think about specifics in a kind of granular sense. This is a time where we try to envision what our painting is going to look like by the end of the session. So, and hopefully that'll be clear, once we're done. So that's what we're going to do.
Yeah. I
Let's
just wanted to add something, and
yes,
it's that
please. While I start.
people can't see because we had to cut a little bit of the.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
No,
Yeah.
no, no. I was just gonna say that it's because it looks like a square
Okay.
composition, but
Oh,
it's
okay,
not.
fine.
So it's
Yeah, no, it's cropped. There's more to the bottom, more to
and
the
more
top.
air
Don't
on top.
don't worry.
Yeah.
Like
No, no, no. I just
eventually.
wanted to say that because
Oh yeah. If you want to check the whole composition, it'll be in our Instagram, and it'll be
in your Instagram, yeah.
where we post our work. So you can check that out there, and just yeah. I mean, these are like technical. Where we have to crop stuff is honestly just technical limitations that we have, which are totally fine. Like so, what am I thinking? In terms of value, so even though this background is going to be, let's say, lighter than some of the values that are going to be here in shade, I don't want to be light. I actually like that in your hips and your leg, there is like a light that actually kind of seeps through all of these moments here in the bottom. So I'm hoping that we can go from kind of mid tone, darker accents to like busy with the hands. So that's the amount of like noise that happens with the hands is what's going to drive your attention to it. Mind you, it's also it is the busiest moment in the image, but it's also like smack in the middle of it. So um that's gonna make you go immediately towards it. It's also gonna have notes of saturation to it with like rosy pinkish fingers, let's say, or like warmer fingertips. So you're gonna notice accents of saturation in those little moments there. That's gonna totally take you there. In terms of how you travel through the composition, you're going to land over here. The fact that it's a repeating pattern, the fact that we have a motif that is the hand and it just repeats itself 6 times, that also drives your attention immediately there. Once you've established a shape and you repeat it, and something as complex as a shape as a hand, and you see it repeating constantly, your brain is just completely almost enamored by that, and it devours those moments. So there's a lot of stuff that is happening that is going to assure us that the attention will be in the right spot.
So Jeff Acuff was saying, hola Dani, Nico y Chili desde Holanda. Hola Jeff,
Jeff.
¿qué tal? Queenie Cashby was saying, hey, greetings. Hey Queenie, how are you? Cody was saying, oh, lots of hands. That will be exciting.
Always.
And Prince Barebones was saying, hello everyone. I agree, Cody. I love these multi-hand compositions. Julia Tovar dice, la campanita está funcionando re bien por fin. Qué bueno, Julia. Carla Anglada dice, was saying, hi Dani, Nicolás and Sweet Chili. Hey Carla. Cacaíto dice, hola, hola Dani, Coco y Chili, ¿cómo van? Hola Cacaíto.
Caquero, buenos
Yo
días.
muy bien, ¿tú cómo estás? ¿Bien? Nicolás.
Yo bien. Sí.
Prince Barebones. Oh no, so I already read that. Isabel Olmedo dice buenas tardes. Hola Isabel.
Isabel Olmeca.
Mi mamá dice buenos días Chili Inés. Hola Milo. Chili Vines, de pronto.
Ya.
Tuvo un momento.
No, celular.
De autocorrector. Entonces, Chili Inés.
Bueno, Chili
Inés.
toca cambiarle el nombre. Claro que le añadimos 40 años a la pobre Chili con ese nombre, Chili Inés.
Cody was saying, Prince Barebones, me too. This definitely reminds me of some of the paintings in the quote-unquote world-famous painter series.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And Prince Barebones was saying, Cody, yeah, that's awesome that you got that book. And Prince Barebones was saying, these more recent multi-armed Dani paintings have been reminding me of the comic The Many Deaths of Layla Starr. If you haven't already read it, I think you would both enjoy it very much.
Oh, thank you for that.
So I'm going to open a tab with it so you can check it out after the live stream.
That's such a particular name that I already like saved it in my brain. I like the cadence of that title too.
The what?
The Many Deaths of Layla Starr.
¿Qué palabra dijiste? ¿Qué es eso?
It's like how the words, kind of the rhythm of how the words sound.
Okay. Yeah. Like the sound of the...
Yeah. But I just like it. It sounds like, I don't know. It sounds like a good title.
Roya was sending some hearts.
Roya.
Hey, Roya, how are you? Maria Hernandez was saying, "Hello, are you painting from any kind of photo
Yeah, of course.
references?"
Yes, yes. A lot of people ask me that, and I am somewhat capable of painting from imagination, but not nearly as I'm not nearly as apt as I hope I could be for painting from my imagination. So, you know, I I I always have reference.
Catherine Poremski was saying, "Hi, everyone." Hey, Catherine.
Catherine?
Carla was saying, "Hi, Catherine." Catherine was saying, "Hi, Carla." Roya is saying, "How's Chili?" She's doing great. She's sleeping right now. I took her out for a walk. I was gonna say a little walk, but it wasn't little. I was out for about an hour, so that's why we're a little late
No, we
here.
don't have we don't have a
Um,
set hour, so
no, but I mean, we are later than we are when we are
when we are
doing live
early.
streams in the morning. So, but yeah, I was walking her, and she was playing with another chihuahua from the neighborhood, and the chihuahua was trying to montarla, trying to
Have sex with her.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
And she was so naive. She was just like playing, and she was like laying in the grass. So yeah,
what are your intentions?
but yeah, she was happy. She's always happy walking outside. She just like, I just take time for her to like smell the grass, and I don't know, sometimes she likes to like pause and lay in the grass, and I find that adorable. So mm, Carla Anglada was saying, uh darn, I don't know how to say that.
Darn. Yep.
I'm going to miss this. I have to go to work. I hope everyone enjoys a kind and inspiring day.
Oof.
Thank you, Carla.
Pressure.
And I hope you have a very nice day too. Catherine was saying, "Dang, hope you have a good day at work, Carla." And Carla was saying, "Thank you, Catherine. See you soon, I hope." Prince Burbones was saying, "The art in Layla's Star is so amazing. Philippe Andrade creates the most gestural, expressive humans, and the colors are super vibrant." Vadim Art Amanov Chapenster was saying, "Hi, how's your day going on?" It's been good. How about yours, Vadim?
I have to check the at least the art for the comic book.
Oh, I have it here if you want to see
Yeah,
it.
I have to look at it. Oh, very I mean, I'm just seeing the covers on my cell phone, and I thought very Paul Pope. But maybe not. So let me see. Let me pick one. Oh no, it's like super stylized. Oh, it's super stylized. Ah, I like that. I really like that. That's very nice. Who's the artist again?
Felipe Andrade.
Oh, very good. Yeah, super stylized. Like Kim Jacinto, maybe a little bit. Um. Oh yeah, that's super cool. Oh, that is so cool.
So he's, for the people, for a little context, you're watching on your phone
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna.
the comic, and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
were
yeah.
reading a page of the comic,
Yeah,
of the
because
comic.
Death
So
is like a Shiva like character, right? So, oof, loved it. I'm gonna see if I I feel bad about saying this, but I'll try to get it. Like if it's a really cool recommendation from you, I'll trust it and I'll try to get it. Sadly, there's many ways of getting comic books right now. Some of them legal, some of them not. But I will check it out first because that's way quicker than me ordering something for sure. So I'll check it out first, and if I like it, I'll most definitely buy it.
But to be fair, we are very good at like
Buying stuff?
buying the
Yeah.
things that we like. So
Oh, I bought like I just bought a Frank Miller Dark Knight. The sort of it's kind of like those artist editions, but it's
book,
about
yeah,
that big. It's
yeah.
about 11 by 17. No, it's probably bigger than that. Yeah, it's crazy.
Also, it came in a box
Oh,
that
it
looked
came in a
like a
box that like you
washing
would think
machine.
it was like a car
Yeah,
was gonna come through the mail.
but
So
I like that they
thanks to the
do
person
that
that sent it like that. But
because the all the borders, the corners of it are intact.
yeah, you know that I never care about that. Like if it has dents or
I
anything,
do.
I don't. I've never
Well,
ever cared
I
about
do
that.
at the beginning. If they get a dent afterwards, I don't
Yeah.
care. But it's just like a little pleasure to see
Yeah.
that it's like perfect
I
when you
don't
get it.
I
So
yeah, I just yeah, I don't. I it's never bothered me. There's people that actually will return it if they're dented. And I
really,
guess it's cuz yeah,
but that I think that's more a U.S. thing, don't you
some
think?
people,
Like the
you know,
fact of returning tons of things, because I
right.
don't think that you can return a book here if it's dented. To be
Well, we
honest,
don't have like that culture of yeah, of
of
returning
returning, yeah,
stuff.
that's why I'm saying that I think it's more
Yeah.
a U.S. thing.
Yeah, and a lot of people, I mean this one in particular, but they'll do it with like paperbacks and stuff like that really wouldn't be um I mean, you wouldn't think that people would collect it as much or because they I guess the reason I mean, there could be like a simple reason that it's like you just want your stuff to look nice and that's it. But a lot of people they do collect it, but they also resell it. You know, eventually they just want to have the chance to resell it, just to make some money afterwards. And that Frank Miller book, for example, that was like $200. So it is one of those books that people I guess they understand them as collector edition books or something. They're just not regular editions, because they are reprinting like in this case it's almost like those Marvel. I have a bunch of those. I have the some Jack Kirby ones. I have the X-Men one, the Jim Lee X-Men one that also reprints at at like original size. There's also that are they're kind of like half size, so they're not as big. I have an enormous one, a Winsor McKay one that's also really really big. Um, but I love those. You gave me a Hellboy one, Hellboy
Hmm.
in Hell one. That was amazing. You gave it that to me some years ago. That they're beautiful. There's nothing to me. Comic books. I mean, colorists are incredible. You know, they are fantastic. You know, artists in their own right, and I think that they are. You know, that they have added. Much. Live to comic books. My favorite colorist is Dave Stewart for that colors Magnola's Hellboy. I think Dave Stewart kind of rivals the most beautiful coloring that I've ever seen in printed work, which is Bill Watterson when he was doing the Sunday pages for Calvin and Hobbes. Bill Watterson was he was like a complete artist to me. He was an incredible writer. Just had this brilliant timing in terms of visual narrative for comedy, which is like this absurd thing to have. He was as good a draftsman as you could ever imagine any person in this world drawing. Um, and he was, it wasn't super apparent, but he was also a colorist, and he was a genius colorist who actually broke a ton of rules in terms of how Sunday strips were colored in the newspapers. He actually pushed a ton of that coloring, which was not kind of like expected at the time with Sunday strips. So if when you look at Bill Watterson's coloring of his strips, it's genius. It's like absolute genius. And I think to to that level, I think Dave Stewart has some of that ability. But I was going to say that to me, quintessentially, comic books are a graphic, a graphic art. So they have to first, if they don't work in black and white, it's very rare for them, or they have to be like a highly, highly specific project for it to work solely on color. Or the introduction of color has to be like in Sin City, for example. It has to be there has to be a reason behind it. But for me, if it if it worked and if it was powerful enough, in color, when you see it, when you're able to like strip the color out of it and see not only it in black and white. Like for example, I have the Earth X, John Paul Leon's Earth X, and but I have the black and white one, which is a gorgeous book. But when you see the old pages, the scans of old art, oh my God, where the page has turned yellow and the whiteout that once was imperceptible now is like, super different from the yellow page, like the yellow, almost like acidic page. But you see all the quote unquote mistakes, you see all the corrections, you see everything that goes into making a comic book page. I think that that's some of the most beautiful art I've ever seen in my life. I feel so. It's in this Frank Miller, the that edition for the Dark Knight. It is crazy. It is so good. But you could say the same thing because I have Kirby's Fantastic Four, and they do the same thing, and it's just watching Kirby's art like life size, and just you almost see the hand just doing drawing. It's crazy. Um, and Jim Lee's Jim Lee is as big as anyone else in comic books, I feel. But even those that are far more like intricate, and the inking is way different from what Kirby was doing, and or from what John Paul Leon does, or Bill Reinhold that was doing the inking for Earth X. Um, Even just seeing those pure kind of ink marks, it's just so gorgeous. It is such a beautiful thing that is kind of lost, actually. I don't know if inking survives another 10 years in comic books. I think it's like it dies as things usually die in art, which is it's not like this quick death, but it's like this very, very slow death. And the only reason I think inking is still alive in comic books, it's because the sale of originals also is something that any artist wants from their work. They want to be paid whatever it is, $200 a page, when doing comic books, but they want to have the option at least to then sell originals, because that can make you money when you're not really working on something. So, so the fact that you can have an original to be sold at a later date, it is something that people want, or people are, I think a lot of comic book artists are, they're totally fine with doing their comic books in Procreate, but their art in Procreate, but they do realize like, oh fuck, I'm only going to be able to sell print after this, but there's not going to be this notion of original artwork. So I guess that the kind of willingness to grab onto this idea of original is what's keeping it alive. But aside from that, it'll eventually just become kind of negligible. Maybe eventually, in 15 years, let's say, or 20 years, the software becomes so sensitive to what it means to do, what we were discussing the other day, that there's software now that looks like oil paint. I mean, this has been true since like Coral Paint. They're trying to evoke textures and brushstrokes, and the way brushstrokes and the way paint would bleed into like fresh paint. But eventually, you could probably imagine a future where it's almost impossible to tell the difference between ink, like real ink marks, and software that produces like an ink texture to them, and then a good enough printer that it could be like a 3D printer. 3D printers, we think of stuff that is like obviously 3D, but eventually 3D printers are also going to be able to 3D print things in like micros, or millimeters, let's say, of of volume. So you could envision like just this beautifully inked, like what apparently is a beautifully inked comic book page, but in reality is just a 3D printed um, uh, 3D printed art that came from software. So I don't know, but it's very sad that those things are kind of dying, and I don't know what brought us here. The comic book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm gonna check it out. It looks beautiful. Looks absolutely beautiful. I just I saw. I think I was just reading like super quickly the panels on like one page that I zoomed into, and I think she was Death, the Shiva like goddess, blue character, and she had like all these arms doing like a bunch of things at the same time. So, anyways,
Prince Barebones was saying, "Oh, I'm right with you guys. Haha. We call it borrowing from the internet when we use the less than legal means to obtain media."
yeah, yeah. But you know, in our defense, but we don't need a defense because we know what we do. But yeah, we buy a lot of original art and original books. We love buying books and we love buying, and it's not a bad way of saying like, let me check this out because it's and I think it's particularly good with comic books. Sometimes you're kind of willing to stand like or like graphic novels. You're like, okay, I love this story, but I don't like the art, but I want to like see how much the story can carry the art, or vice versa. Like it's a bad story, but you want to see how much the art can carry the story, and if you check it out first, and if you're completely convinced, it's like, oh no, then buy it afterwards. That obviously is the way to go and the way to support. I mean, I wish residuals would go to artists in the sale of comic books, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. I feel they don't. I don't think they get at all, or do they? Do they get sales in like the bigger companies? I know when they were like, when they did Image and stuff, and they owned IPs, that obviously the money went directly to them. But in DC and Marvel or IDW or these other companies, I don't know if they get money from sales, from individual sales. Like if they'll get a percentage of individual sales of comic books, which should be the case, to be completely honest.
XIM, no, XIM,
Mm-hmm.
XIM, cuando estábamos hablando de los libros que llegan dañados en las puntas,
Mm-hmm.
dice, yo sí los pido cambiar.
Sí, sí, se entiende.
Yo sí los estoy comprando en persona. Siempre reviso que esté comprando el que esté en mejor estado.
Me estoy
Pero,
hundiendo. Que si me hago hacia atrás, se hunde la silla, ya me he dado cuenta.
¿sí?
Sí, sí. Sorry.
Catherine Poremsky was saying, past few days I'm trying to paint without a reference. It's been very rough, but I think I have to do it because I get way too hung up on recreating my reference, and I think it's messing me up.
Good. I think it's as something complementary, even if it's just that, it's super, super cool to go through that exercise for sure.
And also, if you're doing it because you're realizing like a certain things that you're doing and you're not happy with, and this is like a way of getting out of those, then
Great.
it's a great way to
Yeah.
do it. Yeah. Roya, I don't know why I
Roya.
went with
Roya,
Roya.
ya, le
Roya,
cayó la
yeah.
roya al cultivo.
Who's saying, when you repeat something in painting with multiple hands, or when you repeat a pose, how do you keep yourself in checking for the composition to make sense?
How do you mean? Like, because it shouldn't really be like
Oh, and they're saying, I'm
okay,
sorry,
sorry.
afterwards.
No, maybe that enlightens me a little bit as to what she was saying.
It's saying, they're saying, I think I need some kind of points to pay attention to keep myself in check, if you have any.
No. So what I was gonna say is that honestly shouldn't be as like any different from any other shape, Roya. It really shouldn't. It's just shapes. So the fact that one shape looks like another shape, it's you don't think about that if you're doing like a tree trunk and then you do another tree trunk. Like you don't think like, "Oh my god, they're the same or they kind of look the same," because I don't think I've ever painted exactly the same shape ever. In one of in any of those, you could check them if you want, but in none of those repetition paintings, it's exactly the same hand or exactly the same, arm or exactly the same, head. There's always variations. And the fact that there's variations, it just makes it easier for your brain to say, "Oh, these are different." I mean, they come from the same matrix, let's say, but they are different shapes. And if they're different shapes, you just deal with them as any other shape that you're painting in your painting. They're just shapes. So you don't have to treat them any differently.
Julia was saying, do you guys like poetry? I like it, but haven't really read much of it. Right now, I'm illustrating a poetry book, and I'm really liking how the two languages interact.
De ilustración y poesía, o sea,
Ujú.
los two languages como ilustración y poesía, Julia.
Pues así lo
Sí.
entendí yo. Ay, qué pena, se me durmió el pie.
¿Y quién es autora? ¿Quién
Sí se
es?
puede, ¿no? Porque pues
Ah, sí,
como lo está
sí.
ilustrando, no se sabe si se puede decir o no.
Sí, sí puede decirnos, Julia, si ya la editorial dijo qué tipo de trabajo es el que se va a imprimir.
Roya was saying, Julia, I'm reading real,
Rilke.
pero sí, pero creo que no se pronuncia así.
Ah, bueno, yo digo Rilke. Toda la
Bueno,
vida he
right
dicho
now,
Rilke.
highly recommend.
Julia leyó Rilke, seguramente, ¿no? ¿No?
Catherine Premsky was saying, I love poetry, though I don't read a ton of it. And Catherine was saying, Joseph Komunaka
Ujú.
is one of my favorite poets. Let's see. Vadim Artamonov Chapenster
Ujú.
was saying, since colors have different tonal values when desaturated,
Since
how
colors have the yes.
how do go on with learning them?
Well, I'm not sure I understand the specifics of that question, like what you said at the end. But I think what you're hinting at is that colors have a native value to them. Specific pigments that we use, they do have a native um, uh, value to them. So in trying to understand your colors integrally, you can't just think about the hue of the color, or you just can't think about the saturation of the color. You can't just think about the temperature. If that's something that you attach also to color properties, which is not, it's not a formal color property, but it is something that we painters usually think about too. Um, One of the most overlooked properties of color is value, how light or dark it is. So yeah, it is something that as with any other reflection that you do about value, um, you have to use that notion that you're sort of teaching yourself about, being sensible in terms of the value relationships. You have to also understand that has to do with color. So yeah, I guess the easy answer there is that you never you're not supposed to think of value just as something that applies to black and white, but you're supposed to understand value as something that very much so also invades the color world.
Gabriel Pozo
Pozzo,
dice, hola, ¿cómo están? Me sacaron las muelas del juicio esta mañana, entonces me voy a
desjuiciado
poder
Pozzo.
quedar aquí con ustedes.
Jugando, Gabriel.
Nico, estoy pensando en comprar un Switch para jugar Zelda. ¿Tú lo emulaste con tu Switch?
No, Gabriel, Es que yo vi el computador de Gabriel y parece, no sé qué GPU compró, no sé qué procesador tiene Gabriel, pero Gabriel, escriba Yuzu, ese fue el que me sirvió más a mí. Hay uno que se llama Ryu como el de Street Fighter, entonces RYU, Jinx, JINX, Ryu Jinx, o Yuzu, que es YUZU, que son emuladores que corren en el PC, instalarlos es re breve, es súper fácil. Si no, si pues le cuesta un poco de trabajo, si nunca lo ha hecho, hay, o sea, videos de YouTube de 10 minutos que le enseñan cómo hacerlo y es súper fácil. Em, y en cualquier torrent uno baja, o sea, literalmente es como piratear cualquier cosa. No que yo esté diciendo que la gente deba piratear, estamos hablando de emular cosas. La emulación es legal, pero pues para la gente que hace ese tipo de cosas, luego busca los archivos de juegos y los puede correr en el emulador. Y entonces,
O sea, esa es la manera de decir que lo está jugando desde el computador,
sí,
no
yo
desde
sí.
el Switch. Mm, let's see. Gustavo Ramos was saying, "Hi Nicolas and Danny, awesome to have your company again. I could visit the Prado last month and I was so thrilled. I actually
Awesome.
live in Brazil, but I'm thinking strongly about spending at least 2 months studying the paintings there on my next visit.
Uf.
How would you organize your studies if you were a painting student?
Oh, do you mean
Uh,
do you mean
Like
studying
time
the
wise
paintings
or like
like copying the paintings? Because that's what
but
I don't know.
organize in what sense? That's my question.
Well, I don't know exactly. So if you are thinking of studying them as doing like what people call master copies or um if that's what you want to do, you have to talk to them. You have to send them an email because I'm sure they'll have like things that they ask you, specific things. I remember that when I copied at the Met, you would have to have like a recommendation letter, and it was a lot easier if you were part of an art school. But I really don't think you have to be part of an art school to copy a painting in a museum. So that wouldn't worry me
But I
at
would
all
check
if you're
out
not.
the info because El Prado specifically is very.
Oh yeah, but they allow copies there.
No, yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah.
been many times where people copy paintings there. So yeah, yeah. But just write to them. They obviously have like a contact um, email. Just contact them about and tell them that it's about copying paintings because this is what I'm understanding of what you want to do. Um, yeah, just so that you have that information prior to your visit. Don't do that information when you get there. So, because
Gustav
you,
was saying yes, organizing studies at the museum.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You have to contact them first because each museum has their own philosophy as to what they allow you to do, the days that you're allowed to go in. The Met had specific days that you were allowed to go into to paint. You can't just go there any day you want. So yeah, and they probably need some recommendation letters, or they need your CV or something just to know that you are somebody who who is legitimately wanting to do a copy. So yeah, just write to them and ask them what they usually ask for, and yeah, but usually the museums are not problematic at all in giving all this in giving these permissions. So you should be totally fine.
Aqua 642 was saying, "I'm deadlifting right now."
Oh,
And a tired emoji. I didn't want to miss the stream.
dude, what? Come on, just check your form. You know, I don't want you to get a horrible injury because you were listening.
But I like to think that they're doing that while
Yeah,
listening to this.
yeah.
Because
Chin
I.
up, chin up. Lift from your legs.
So now you're trying to give tips for
Chin
that?
up,
I think they know.
and oh, if they're deadlifting, I'm
Yes,
sure.
I think
Yeah,
they
chin
could
up, butt
teach
out.
us
Yeah,
how
chin
to.
up,
So,
butt out. Push that butt out, chin up. You know, and check your form. Yeah.
Taerg was saying, "This may get asked a lot here. I'm starting with oils and would like to start off painting in my moleskin. Do you have
Yes.
any advice on that? Should I prime the paper? Avoid mediums, things like that?
Um,
Thanks.
I, in my case, I didn't avoid mediums. I was working with Alkyd medium, and I did prime my paper. So, I used a transparent acrylic binder, and I applied like 2, 3 coats to, to every single page that I was, well, not every single. I think there were a couple of pages that I worked on them raw, if I remember correctly. But yeah, in my case, I did that. You don't have to if you don't want to, but it's your decision to do it or not.
I guess nowadays you wouldn't prime them
Probably not. Probably not. Unless I was
because you
wanting
love
to do
raw
something
paper,
like
but
super specific. But
yeah,
yeah,
I would say try both
yeah,
because I think if they're starting, it's important to see how they feel more comfortable. So I would try to prime some pages, but others not, and see which one I enjoy more
yes,
so I can know if
yeah.
I have to prime more or not. And same thing with mediums. I think if it's when you're starting, or I mean, even if you've started long time ago, you could try new things and see what fits better for you. Mm, Prince Barebones was saying, and on the other hand, too, I've borrowed books slash comics from friends that I've later purchased for myself. So there's a great justification for checking something out first before purchasing it.
I think so too. I think with books, is actually quite wise to do it.
Yeah.
If I have to be very, very honest, I think it's if the opportunity is there, and if you know yourself and you know that if you like something, you are going to support it by purchasing it. I think it's wise to do it. I think it takes a minute to just say, oh, let me check this out, and you check it out, and you go like, wow, this is something that I would really, really like, and then you just get it.
Liat was saying hello.
Hey,
Hey,
Liat.
Liat. Jeff Akoff was saying, and variation is one of the beautiful aspects of composition. Mm, so I think this was when you were answering to
Yes.
Roya about.
Yes.
Okay. Mm, Prince Bourbones was saying, Catherine, I forgot who I saw this exercise from, but they do an exercise where they draw a pose from memory and then draw that same pose from a reference. Mm, Roya was saying exactly because when you do it, it looks good and not repetitive. But I feel like when I do it, it kind of looks repetitive, not in the good way. But thank you so much, Nicolas, and
No, you're
a heart
welcome.
emoji.
I guess, Roya, if from the beginning you already have that clarity in your mind that they're not going to be the same, then it just gives you that liberty to approach them in kind of different ways, even though they are born from the same, let's say, information. So maybe that's why they feel a little different. It's just that I've never felt the pressure to try to repeat something when I'm like iterating, when it's a shape that I iterate on in a painting.
Mm, Catherine was saying that's interesting. I would expect more to do it from reference and then from memory, but I guess either would be valuable. And Prince Bourbon was saying, Catherine, oh, I'm sure a mix of both would be super valuable. Both are going to test your memory and probably strengthen your understanding of form. Julia was saying, Roya, thanks so much. Only read a bit in school, but I will definitely check him out again. Y Julia nos dice, es con una editorial chiquita que se llama Lobo de Páramo y la autora, aún no sé su nombre, me mandaron el manuscrito sin firmar.
Ah, bueno, curioso. Pero bueno, la mejor suerte,
Claro, Julia
Juliecita.
nos, nos muestra y nos cuenta cuando ya acabe el libro. Gabriel Pozzo dice, le va a sonar tonto, me da
No.
vaina emular ahorita, especialmente por estos lares. Cuando estaba en Venezuela, yo era el Torrent King.
Sí, 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 entiendo eso también. No, entonces hágale, nosotros tenemos una Switch, lo que pasa es que a mí me cuesta un poco,
Nicolás es exigente con las
sí,
gráficas,
pienso que, no, no, no,
con la todo.
pero nosotros jugamos Mario Kart en Switch, yo jugué con Fer, nosotros completamos con Fer y yo, Luigi's Mansion, y es la chimba, es buenísimo en Switch, y se ve súper bonito también. ¿Qué más? Nosotros jugamos, Dani y yo completamos todo Cuphead en Switch.
Ujú.
Entonces, no, o sea, yo no tengo ningún problema. Incluso ellos son, o sea, Nintendo son unos genios de lograr sacarle a algo que claramente no tiene la misma capacidad que, digamos, las consolas hoy en día, de sacarle el máximo de provecho.
¿Y tú sabes si los nuevos Switch, los que son como todos completos, que
Ah,
no se
no.
les pueden sacar?
No, los que son OLED son como unos nuevos que sacaron, pero no, en realidad lo único que cambia es la pantalla del Switch,
Pero ¿y no
pero
corre distinto?
no corre distinto.
Ah,
Digamos
ok.
que por dentro son exactamente iguales.
Mm, Mars Sa
Mhm.
was saying, do you lose shapes of the drawing while painting it?
Oh yeah, yeah. So maybe you missed the intro, but yes. So this is gonna be like we're gonna leave this at a stage that is very much so like a block in today. Imagine like a blown up sketch. That's what we want to get to today. That's our aim. So don't feel weird if that's what you see by the end of the session. It's like, what the hell? There was a nice drawing. There was a nice drawing under that, and now it's like completely gone. It's like, no, don't worry, don't worry. It'll be back. It'll get back here. Ay, te toca. Llegaron las cosas. Bueno. Sí, dale, dale. So yeah, so for now, the like the I don't know if you guys saw what I was making reference to at the beginning, which is that I wanted to tip this head, but not be reliant upon the like small specifics of drawing to sort of tip the head. And I think we tipped it, and we did it with just bigger shapes of color. I mean, I'm being like somewhat careful about the where those shapes of color are. So there's a drawing to those shapes of color, let's say, but uh, but never. I'm not spending more than a couple of minutes on each shape, so that I don't. And I'm actually pushing myself to do that, so that I don't obsess over it. That I'm not like, oh no, this has to be like exactly right, or this has to be super super accurate. Because as soon as I start doing that, then I'm realizing that my sketch, which is my objective right now, starts turning into like a tight drawing, which is not what I want. So for now, it's just shapes against shapes against shapes. That's all we're going for right now. And the the sort of more open it is at this stage, I feel more comfortable with that, because it means that I can, when I am reorganizing my drawing, which will happen probably not tomorrow, sadly, because I need to let it dry for that. But let's say, what date is today? What day is today? Tuesday. Let's say Thursday or Friday. Probably more so Friday than Thursday. When we get back into it, and we check the drawing, or maybe I do the drawing like off camera, just to because it's a little more cumbersome to do those drawings. Like it involves me maybe getting closer to the painting. So in those sessions you would just only be seeing my head just in the shot just constantly, which I'm always curious if people would much rather just like have my head in there and just see me do those things, or if that's kind of annoying and you guys are okay by if I say like, hey, I'm gonna do this like off camera, and then then we'll do the rest of the painting in the session. But I always wonder like if people are okay with me doing it on camera and not looking good, or I mean not being like a good video, or off camera and then getting back into the painting when we can do it properly, let's say. Danny had to go downstairs to pick something up, but she'll be right back. So if this is if you've seen me do this before, I think the approach that we're going to take for this one is closer to the not that not that it's going to be the same type of painting, but at least the approach is going to be the same, I feel. The painting of Fed with the sunflowers, with the kind of earthy yellowy sunflowers. Sans the color, which I thought was very nice, what was happening in terms of color in that painting. But we're not, this one, I don't think this one is going to have that. We're not going to be able to do that. I didn't envision it being about color or having like an instance of color that was super important. So I'm much rather not push it just for the sake of pushing color. But it's not gonna quite have that. I had to check my proportions of the hands. They were getting small as I was going, lower. So I have to check that a little bit. I want them to be like strong, like kind of nice, strong hands always. So, and if you give me the option of making hands smaller or bigger, I am 100 times out of 100 gonna make them bigger. So no. It's Chili's lunchtime. Good thing about having like a shorter palette is that the decisions are limited. I mean, the options that we have in terms of hue, while very rich, while very beautiful and very rich, they are limited, and that's fine. It's not limiting. I always make that kind of make that difference clear. But the good thing about them being very, very small, like our options being very small, is that we can then make up for the for the smallness of that pool with the expressiveness of which we laid down. So yeah, so like I was saying, this is our aim right now, is to make this feel like just like a bigger sketch, I guess.
Um, Rosalind was saying hello,
Rosalind,
OPL
Sita,
fam. Hey, Rosalind Dion, how
Rosalita.
are you? Guy Bailey was saying brilliant, even though subscribed. I never know when you're posting, and now 2 days in a row. Fabulous. I so loved your paintings from yesterday. Hope you're both well. Thank you, Guy. I think a good way, Guy, to know when we're live is to ring the bell. So I would use this just as a pretext to remember everyone that if you ring the bell, it would be easier for you guys to join us in the live streams if that's what you want. I mean, it's just an option for you there if you want to subscribe and ring the bell. But thank you, Guy. Taerk was saying, thanks for the advice. So cool you give such considered answers to everyone. Very generous for you all sharing the knowledge.
No, and it's a good thing because our channel is small enough, so we can we can do that. That's a that's I think the plus part of having like a small channel is that you can actually listen to people and then have conversations with people.
Liad was saying, I'm doing okay. I have nasal surgery tomorrow. A little
Oh,
nervous
yeah.
about that.
No, it'll
I'm
be
sure it's
okay.
gonna be okay,
I'm sure
Liad.
it'll go swimmingly.
But I get it. I mean,
Oh, any
I'm always
surgery. Yeah, any
nervous about,
surgery
yeah.
is
I
annoying.
think I've only had the wisdom teeth surgery,
Mm-hmm.
but I've never had like the whole anesthesia thing.
Yeah,
No, never.
you'll be fine, Leah. I'm sure of it.
Mm, Sand V. Schreiber
Mm-hmm.
dice buenas tardes, saludos desde Paraguay.
Oh,
Hola, Sand V. Schreiber, saludos desde Colombia. Habíamos tenido gente que nos saludara desde
de
Paraguay,
pronto,
¿sí?
de pronto. Desde Defensores del Chaco.
¿Qué, mi amor?
Guaraníes. Defensores del Chaco es el estadio donde juega la selección de Paraguay.
Ah, no
Creo,
sabía el
creo,
nombre.
creo que sí, sí. Si no me estoy acordando mal.
Mm, Cody was saying good luck with that, Liat. I hope it goes smoothly. Catherine was also saying good luck with the surgery, Liat. And Prince Barebones was saying, Liat, I hope the surgery goes well. So yeah, all the OPL family rooting for speedy recovery and a smooth surgery, Liat. Mars Sa was saying, do you have a reference to refine the painting since the drawing will be covered? This is very intriguing process. I really like the pose, the hands, the focus of the head, and how you are so confident that you can cover such a nice drawing. Very inspiring.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we would invite you to watch our other videos in the channel. Not saying this is par for course for us in tons of paintings, but I think that if there is a sort of if there is a motif in almost every single painting and video that we do, is the fact that you know you can trust yourself to be able to find your way again through your own drawing. The fact that you were able to draw something once means that you could, you know, in theory, draw it 100 times if you needed to. So there's a ton of videos where we are especially bold about you know, going over a drawing that seems precious at the beginning. But yeah, I think that overall, if you look at most of our paintings, they have to, you know, they have to do in formal terms, they have to do with um, a relationship, with finding the character of the relationship between painting and drawing. So there is always like this constant pull of painting, drawing, and how they manifest in like, let's say, the final painted image. And it's I would say it's very interesting. And if you want to be familiar with that, we would invite you to check like a bunch of our videos that have to do with that. So
Roya was saying, yes, I prefer to see your head. So I don't know. I think I
I
missed
don't know. I
something.
think this is Roya just saying something totally
And
weird.
Marsa was saying, can't be annoying. It's always so nice of you letting us watch you paint. It's not about video quality as much as the painting. Definitely prefer to see the painting process always.
No, I was just telling them that I don't know how interesting it is for them to see when I have to get super close to my painting to do like an overdrawing or drawing marks over like a painted layer. And I always wonder if people are just going to be annoyed by the fact that if I do that the way I usually do it, I would be super on top of my painting, which is would make for a terrible video because it just I would cover the whole frame. It would probably be a lot of this. I'll show you guys like what it would begin to look like.
Well, but I don't think that's a problem, to be honest, because I think it's more a problem for you. But
A
I,
little annoying for me, but
but I really like that people here describe the live streams as company. So
yes.
they're being our company while you work, and we are being their company as they work.
Yes.
So I think it's fine. I mean, that's the way you have to do it to paint.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't see it as a problem to
We'll
do
see.
that.
We'll see if we. I mean, we did it with Fer's painting, so I don't. I think I did the drawing for that. That's all recorded. I feel the drawing on top of the painting. I think we
Which one? I'm sorry.
for
I
the
don't.
Fer earthy sunflower. I'm running out of white, and I haven't gotten the white on at the at the at the PO box.
So you'll have to use mine that you don't really
Oh, I
like.
don't like it. No, I would much rather just use it like a yellow or something than just make it something different.
Fair.
Yeah, I've gotten so used to. I don't know why, but I mean, I should use something else just to remind myself that it's not great to get used to like certain types of paints. But
Fair. Which one of fair? I'm
what?
trying to look for it. You were talking about. You said I think I did that for Fair's painting, but
Oh, fade and the sunflower painting.
oh,
I
let's
thought
see.
I had
Oh
said the
yeah, I
sunflower
think
painting.
no. Well, maybe you did, but I didn't listen to that part. So, um, yes, I think so because we have um, it's one video, two videos, finishing touches on a painting. Yes. Oh, three videos of that. Two videos of that one.
Two?
Or maybe you just no,
No.
three videos. Yeah,
Okay, if
it
it's
was just
three,
like
maybe.
no, yeah, yeah. I even think four. Uh, because it's drawing on top of a painting, then some time passed by, finishing touches on a painting, and then painting flowers in a portrait. Yes, so
Ooh.
I do remember when you were painting the flowers
Yeah,
that
so
you
it's
had
probably
to.
both. I probably worked on it outside, like, you know, behind cameras, let's call it like that, which is kind of dumb, but I probably worked on it not on live videos, but I did a lot of work also, during the live videos.
Mm, Julia was saying, to be honest, I always listen, never watch. Just
Oosh.
glance once in a while to see the progress.
What? Oosh, Julia.
Uh, Liad was saying, I think you might want to position the camera in a different spot. It doesn't have to be head on for the stream.
Um,
But I think you'd rather have your head than a different spot. Just because
yeah, and Leah,
of the
honestly,
way you.
wherever we put it, the head's gonna be there. Like, there's no way of avoiding it.
I mean, we could put it in your head. So there's
Like a
no head.
GoPro.
Yeah.
Oof, that would be like
A dizzy.
yeah, puke for everyone.
Yeah. Um. Let's see. Mars Sa was saying your channel is one of the most transparent about painting and so intimate and genuine. Like I feel like I've lived along you guys a bit. Best thing for painting since internet. Haha. Oh, that's so
Thank you.
nice.
That's very
Thank you
nice.
so much. Um, I'm annoyed with myself because I realized I'm saying a lot.
Like
Like
in what sense? Oh,
like
that's come on.
before talking,
That's
yeah, but I
I mean if
didn't do that before. It's like a new thing I do.
uh,
The
I do
good
it
thing,
all the
yeah,
time.
good thing I don't look back in the videos.
Oh, no, but
But I think,
I
I mean,
think
I
it's
think if
okay.
I know that people do like drinking games with
Yeah,
videos,
but we don't
I
do
think they would get.
podcasts or
No, I was
anything
gonna
like
say they
that.
would get super drunk if they drink every time I say ah. But
No,
it is
I
what
don't
you
think
get.
I don't think it's at the point where it's annoying. I'm not saying what you do, what any of us do, because I do it all the time. I have to think about what I'm gonna say like 1,000 times. So, I'm bound to just like lag and sort of stutter and sputter.
Yeah, and I
So
think it's very different to like to have an edited video because I remember when you
I edited those out, all of them.
and I was gonna say when I was editing the audio, I would also take out a
Yeah.
lot of things you would repeat.
Oh
But
yeah.
when it is something live,
Yeah.
I think it's so complicated to like to manage your
Yeah,
vocals.
there's
But
people that are very good, but there's people that
yeah,
just train that, that's their life to like people that are on radio or something,
yeah,
like
yeah.
traditional
I guess
radio,
you
like
have to train for that
they would
for
learn how to
sure.
do
But
that, but they would have to learn how to do that. I'm sorry, but for us, and we don't do like podcasts or anything that is, narration is especially important for that. So no, this is just like conversation, I
yeah,
feel. Yeah, so this is the way I would talk in a bar, with like friends or something. So I don't
but also,
know. Yeah.
um, I mean, I was saying it because I don't know if that has happened to you that you realize you say a word too much.
Yes, all
So
the time.
every time you say it,
Yeah.
it's like your brain's telling you again, like you did it again, you did it again. But you always realize that after you say it. So it's like I'm getting annoyed with
Yeah.
myself by
Is it
saying it.
words or just like I don't know what those are called. The ums and the they probably have a name.
I think in
I have no idea what they're
I
called.
think I know the name in Spanish, but I want to double check because I don't want to say something
You should.
dumb.
Oh, say it and then you'll check.
No,
I'm always like that. I'll say it and then I'll be like, okay, let me see.
no,
What were you thinking they were called?
no
I'm
modismos,
curious.
pero no.
No, that's
No,
not it. That
modismos
one's
es
not
otra.
it.
Por
Yeah.
eso, entonces,
It's okay. What? Like
eh,
we make, we say tons of stuff here.
no, eso tiene un nombre,
I'm
es
sure
un
somebody
ismo.
I'm sure somebody in chat knows. What are
Uh,
they called? Like ums and ahs and, what is that called?
so Prince Barebones was saying Hardcore Henry OPL edition. Is that the name of the drinking game? Or
I
what's that?
have no idea what that is.
I'm gonna Google Hardcore Henry. So I think it's a movie.
Oh, I've never seen that in my life.
No. Okay, it looks.
That looks like purposely bad? Like purposely terrible? What is that? Looks like a
Guy Bailey was saying, "Oh my God, Danny, your English is so good, puts us all to shame." Oh, thank you, Guy. No, I have to say this. Since we started doing the streams,
Mhm.
I'm even more comfortable with my accent.
Mhm.
I like it.
Yeah,
I
should.
mean,
There's no reason why you shouldn't be.
Mm,
Did-
muletillas, dice Julia.
Sí,
Este era el nombre, pero.
sí,
Y Julia
pero
dice fillers.
fillers maybe?
And Guy Bailey was saying this get controversial. I was gonna
Yeah.
say controversial.
Contraband.
Conversational filters or fillers?
There we go. Oof.
Conversational filters.
Yeah.
So, what's your conversational filter, Nicolas?
I don't know.
You know, you had one.
No, I was just making a joke.
I
with
know,
you.
I know. But you had the
I wouldn't say that's a filler. That's actually like
That's like a
a search.
conversational painting filter because
But
I
that's
think
like
you
a
do it.
moment where I search for something. Doop, 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 like you're searching.
Now you're Mario or Luigi.
Yeah.
What was
You
that
know when
song?
Link
You
in,
never
in
do that.
Zelda when Link cooks something, it's like a super cool sound. Like doom, chick, doom, chick, doom, 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 doom. I I I
Your
think that
brain never does that.
I think
you
that
just say
that's my
pa.
po.
No, it's not that
I don't know.
song. You don't do a song. It's
No, I don't
just
do a song,
pa
but-
pa 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 pa.
Putter.
Mm. Yeah, just say mm, Chelino dice buenas. Buenas, Chelino. Cody Winnicky was saying, I'm here for an OPL drinking game.
Oof.
And Catherine was sending an emoji of some cups cheering. No, see, cups? No. ¿Cómo se dice?
Glasses?
Yeah, glasses. ¿Cómo se dice? Chin.
Yeah. I don't know.
What do you say?
Yeah.
Salud when you brindar.
Yeah. Cheers, but I don't know what.
The glasses are cheering? No.
No. I don't know, you know? I don't think I've ever thought of that. I mean, there's a word.
Oh,
What was
you
it?
know the word. Catherine just said it and yeah.
Tinkling.
No, toasting.
Toast.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm,
It couldn't be any other like specific word for glass. It has to be cheers, which has nothing to do with glass. Cheers, or toast.
which
A
has
piece of bread.
yeah.
A burnt piece of bread.
Pero acá
English.
brindar
Uh
salud.
Te
Nothing to do with
brinda
glass.
salud.
Te brinda salud, no, pero o sea,
El
estoy
t-
diciendo es
el-
que no tiene nada que ver con glass tampoco,
Sí, no sé.
con vidrio,
No
con
sé, es mejor el
vasos,
español igual.
con
Igual es mejor el español.
¿Viste? Es como
It's okay.
it's like my brain's trying to read.
You
a
know what it is?
comment?
If do you want me to be super honest? It's just that I know you. I know you 1,000%.
It's not that I'm feeling silence, feeling the space
I
of
think
silence.
so. I
no,
think
no,
you're
no.
being uncomfortable while
No,
because you're searching for something, you don't want to search for it in silence.
no,
Be
you know
okay.
what's
I'm super okay with silence.
no what happens? I think is that my brain is trying to connect the comments of the people with
Yeah.
the things we're saying. So I'm just trying to like scan super quickly to see which comment fits in the conversation we're having.
Right. But you could do that
So-
silently. Think
No,
about
but
it.
I like the
Oh, okay. So I thought you were annoyed by it.
No,
Good judging from what you said 2 seconds
No.
ago.
I prefer it than the silence.
Okay, so we don't need to change anything about it then.
Maybe I can do it even more.
I think you could do it as much as you want.
Again, Rosalind was saying discourse markers is what Google told me.
Oof.
Sounds very professional.
Yeah. Makes it sound less
Proper.
worse. Yeah.
Mario J was saying I've heard them referred as fillers, but I'm not sure if there's a fancier name for them. I mean, Rosalind just said a very proper name.
Oh,
for it.
yeah.
Discourse markers. Prince Bourbones was saying regarding the movie Hardcore Henry, they were saying it's that action movie from first person perspective. I've watched 10 minutes and was so motion sick I couldn't finish it. Oh, so when we were talking about having the camera on your head.
Oh, there we go.
So if we attach a GoPro to Nicolas' forehead, then we may have a wild stream. Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, you could never see the painting. You would have no idea what he's painting.
Or because I'm
See.
bald, you'll just see forehead. If you attach it to my forehead, there's more forehead.
No, because the camera's pointing
There's more
out.
forehead.
It's not like you're gonna point to your forehead.
There's forehead after the forehead
No.
in my case.
Prince Bones was saying sound effects make everything better, Danny. Yeah, so maybe it's not that annoying.
I didn't. You brought it up as something that was annoying you, so that's why I thought you found it annoying. But I don't find it annoying.
Gabriel Pozzo was saying forehead
Pozzo.
galore.
Ajá, el Frente Nacional.
Art Elizalde JC was saying you're really a lovely couple. Cool image,
you.
by the way. Thank you so much. Next month
What happens next month?
we're
Is
gonna
our anniversary?
yes.
I was ready for that. So ready for that.
It's
I'm
gonna
ready for
be
that.
7 years since we're together. So
I'm ready for that the rest of the year.
I don't get. Okay, I didn't get that.
So
You're ready
every
for
month,
what?
every other month, I'm ready for knowing when this moment. And this is like a very
I don't get what
special.
you're saying.
I'm ready for the date. I get ready for the date every single other day that is not the actual date.
What does that mean?
Well, because I know it's like a very special day for you, right?
Well, yeah, I'm happy to celebrate that I'm with you and I'm happy with you and
So I'm super eager to see what you're going to do this year.
no, because you said that there was not gonna be any gifts. That was a
No,
request
we have
you had.
yeah. We have our trip planned. So we
That
are
was your gift for my birthday. But I remember last anniversary you
Yeah.
told me that you didn't want to have gifts. So I said yes the year before that, but I didn't do that.
Yeah.
So you and I talked, and
Yeah.
this year you told me there was gonna be no gifts. So
And it was okay. Were we okay with that?
Nicolas, no, you were okay with. You made me not have gifts for you because you know me and you know that I get gifts for you like a year in advance.
Yeah, but
So,
I think it's unnecessary. But we were okay, right?
you were okay with
Okay.
that.
So you're not okay with that?
Well, I was, but now I'm doubting if you have something.
No,
for
no, no,
me.
no, no. I don't. I don't.
Okay,
I can be
'cause
super honest, like right now.
Because you know
this is
that
not like
I love
like a big-
having gifts for you.
yeah.
But I mean, you told me that you would feel comfortable if we did not have gifts.
The thing is, we gift
So-
that for people that are not like we gift each other things all the time. So
Yes.
it's not a matter of like one day thinking that it's more special than the rest.
Mm. Julia dice, me parece tierno que cuando hablan en español las muletillas son en español y cuando es en inglés, las cambian a inglés. Sí, oye, sí.
El E por
Es chévere como que el cerebro funcione así.
Sí. muy
Como que uno dice
desafortunado.
y en vez de
Cambia la vocal.
Súper, súper interesante este
Sí, gracias.
stream.
Gracias, Julia.
No, pero porque todo es a Julia, pobre
Gracias.
Julia. La verdad no me había dado cuenta, Julia, pero muy chévere. Es como el switch en el cerebro. No el switch de Zelda, ¿no?
Mm.
Sino el... Sí. ¿Ves? Ahí pensé en español.
Porque
Tienes
acabas de
razón, le
hablar
acabo de decir,
con Julia.
muy bien, Julia, ahora voy a estar
No,
incómoda por 2 letras
sí.
en vez de por una.
Ahora ya estaba bien en español, mal en inglés, ahora está mal en ambas. Gracias.
Guy Bailey was saying, I'm up for a drinking game on leave for 6 days and a happy face. So I don't know if Guy can drink for 6 days.
Straight? Yeah, I think
I
he's
think
done it.
I couldn't drink for six. No,
'Cause
6 hours is a lot.
that's a
Six
lot.
minutes. I think I could not. But I mean, if you guys want a drinking game, I have a lot of R's and S.
Mm-hmm.
So go for it. I think you'll be drunk in 10 minutes.
There we go.
Mm, Mars Sa was saying, do you think as an artist in this era, it's better to be all transparent and show everything painting process instead of making paintings and showing it? Can you talk about this a bit, please?
I don't think it's better or worse. I think it's a choice,
Ye-
like any other,
yes.
you know, any other aspect of your life. It's a choice. But there's nothing about the art world or the current way we consume the making of art or the production of art that says that you're supposed to do it in one way or another. There's painters that I've never seen paint, and I still respect them as much as I do. You know, before I even thought of the notion of watching them paint. Like I don't. One thing doesn't take away from the other. For me, at least, I know that for a lot of people, watching somebody paint is or work or do what they do is awesome, and I do agree with that. When artists are able to open up like these very private doors and let people into their own practice, it's quite beautiful, and it's you can get tons of information from it, but I think it is a mistake to believe or to yearn for every artist then to do the same, because personalities are not the same. Some people understand their privacy differently. Some people wouldn't be able to work if they were working, like I I think I can paint and talk at the same time only because I talk a lot. That is the truth. Only because I just naturally talk a lot. You can ask people that have known me for a long time, they can tell you that that is just something that I do. So, um, so it's not weird for me to then attach to the lot of talking that I do this thing that I love to do, which is painting. But I would say that there's people that don't necessarily feel comfortable, you know, working in front of other people, because I may be in our apartment, like in front of my table right next to Danny, which would make it seem like everything about it is super comfortable. But some people, when they know that there's a camera pointing at them or when there's like a live video happening, they freeze. They don't want to work. They don't want to be seen working, or they
It's like an
happen
added pressure
yeah, they happen to
to
be, or they
succeed.
become super self-conscious about how they work. So it's sad because you won't really see them work at their most comfortable or at their fullest, or so it's very sad. You're going to really miss what makes them them. So I don't know. I think it's I would never see it as an obligation, to be honest. I think it should be taken for what it is. That if and I'm not saying that this is what we do, but I am a painter that also enjoys tremendously the chance that I have to see somebody else work. To me, it's just wonderful to see how other people approach painting. But I think we should always see it as something that's the perhaps it's the exception and not the rule. Now, there's a ton of people doing horrendous work in the internet, and they are happy to be painting in front of other people, and that's fine. That's totally fine. But I would say that it is still not it's not what you should expect of other people doing. It's just, I think it's special in its own right. And I'm not talking about us. I'm just saying that when you find people that are super cool about opening up, and they are willing to share every single aspect of their practice, whatever it is. It could be sculpture, it could be music, it could be dancing, it could be anything. I think it should always feel special because it is difficult to find that. So I should just, I would just say, just appreciate it when you have, appreciate that when you see it. But don't expect, don't hold that as the standard for other people because it simply isn't. So,
And also, if you're thinking about doing it yourself, do it because you want to, like you feel like you want to share the process, but never because you feel it as a pressure to,
yeah.
like, oh, I have to. I have to show my process. I have to be in social media, like sharing all the time the things I do, because it's not something you have to. It's something, as Nicolas was saying, you choose to do or not to do, but it's never an obligation. So Mars Sa was saying, how much do you think the cameras affect your painting process to make more effective brush strokes? Not affected at all. Does the fact that people are watching affect your painting, you think?
No, that last part, no. I think that, um, no, no. No, because even when we started, that nobody else was watching, but I was way more uncomfortable talking in front of a camera than painting in front of a camera.
Oh, the intros, they
Yeah,
were
yeah,
like
yeah.
2 minutes long,
Yeah.
and
It's
we
half an
could,
hour to get like, 2 minutes.
yeah, it was the hardest part for you,
Yeah.
not the painting part.
No, painting, I don't think painting would ever feel uncomfortable, to be honest. I I I understand enough of what painting means to me to not be scared of it. So there's no reason why I should feel uncomfortable around it. There's no reason because I'm not afraid either of doing a bad painting. So if that is the biggest fear of just doing something that's bad, I don't care. I really don't.
Yeah, and that
So
is amazing, but I think that's also something like a quality you have. But I also understand that there's a lot of people that do feel like if they have a camera recording every decision they
mhm.
make, they're gonna F it up.
Yeah.
Even if they are amazing painters, drawers, sculptors, whatever, they just feel the pressure and it's like their brain is just gonna make them trip off. And
Yeah. I don't know. 'Cause I think that the chances of me doing a good painting or a bad painting are just about the same as if there's a camera on me and
yeah,
if there isn't. Like it's exactly the same. Like painting is going to be hard regardless of if there's a camera on me or not. So I always kind of feel that and I feel like okay, I mean it's going to be hard, so who cares? And I just grew, I guess because of what we do, I just grew accustomed to feeling, understanding that there's going to be moments where it's easier or where things kind of line up and I don't struggle as much, and there's going to be paintings where I struggle a ton, and I think both of them are okay. Like I kind of became comfortable with both of them. So, but if like I can tell you what changes because this obviously it is a different manner of approaching painting. So it does suggest that something has to change. Um, in my case, I'm probably faster when I am not talking. When I like if I just wake up and I most of the days I wake up early, but if I have it in me to say like, oh, it's like I'm just going to sit down and start working. I can be very efficient about it if like I don't know if my brain is like okay we should start working from like 7 in the morning or before that and then take a shower and then keep working, like I can be super super effective. Um and in here it's almost unavoidable that because you're trying to answer questions and sometimes the questions that people have kind of also you know make you understand that it's not just a dumb question. It's actually like a legitimate question that begs to be answered in like a serious way. Sometimes like the brain has to say like okay let's try to like answer this properly instead of just blurting out whatever whatever, I could blurt out just because, and justify it that, "Oh, I'm sorry, I just said that, but I just wasn't paying attention because I was painting." Um, no, yeah, I could say that if I'm painting by myself, and not by myself as in there's nobody here, like Danny can be here, Samu and Fer could be here, um, but I I'm far more efficient at it. I'm far more efficient at it, and usually I don't need to be like I don't need like this perfect environment to like paint something. But there are moments where I'll ask Danny like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I need to concentrate on this like for just a second," and it's like, "Oh, just give me a second," and because I'm not the best person to be like if you're asking me questions right now, like my brain is not entirely there. So I'm just trying to do this stupid little strokes. So I always tell Danny, just give me like a second and let me try to finish this, and we can talk more properly in like a little bit. But yeah, so obviously things do change a little bit, but overall I would say that the essence of how I approach painting remains like unchanged. Like that's what you see here is how I paint. There's like no reason why I should be approaching this painting differently from any other painting that I've ever done.
So going back to
Okay,
filler
yeah.
words,
Yeah.
Liad was saying filler words are also known as vocal disfluencies or
Ooh,
hesitations.
okay.
The most common filler words in speech are like um, ah, like, and you know.
I say all of those.
I just, I don't know. Maybe I say,
Oof, I say all of them for sure.
I have to say, when I was in school
Yeah.
and I realized that like was a word that was used as a filler too much. I do remember there was a teacher
Mhm.
that when we were doing a presentation,
Mhm.
they would always tell us to not say like because it would make you like the things you're saying may sound as if you're not sure about them, but you're kind of guessing what you're saying.
Mhm.
And I remember she was very strict on that. So we couldn't say like in Spanish, of course. So, como.
Es
So,
como
exactly. So if you say it's like having, she was like, no, it's having. It's
okay.
not like. Because you're not telling me how it's like, but you're telling me a fact. And I do remember that in that year, I was very conscious about my use of that word.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, I'm not perfect with it, but I think
You got better, you feel.
yeah, a lot, a lot. So,
Good.
yeah.
I try to be conscious about it, but I'm also, I'm not going to kill myself if I say it a lot. Cuz in all honesty, it's just you're trying to find words
Yeah,
to
it's just your
to
word trying to,
explain,
yeah.
things that are complex while you're painting. So it is a bit of juggling. There's a bit of juggling going on. And not to say it, but it is not our first language. I mean, not to say that our Spanish is not, you know, um, is void of these issues. I'm sure the same things that um that inspire hesitancy, are present in both English and Spanish. But it is, it is tougher in a language that is not your native tongue. So
And I think we've talked about this before, but when it's not in your native uh tongue,
thong, yeah,
tongue, um and it has happened to you and it has happened to me and I guess it's happened to everyone that's speaking a language that's not their first language, but when you like you're very sure about the things you're saying, but then you lose a word
yeah,
and it's terrible because the seconds while you try to remember the word or try to replace the word with something else,
yeah,
it like they feel like minutes.
yes,
Like you feel like you're doubting and you're just like going in circles in the phrase that you were saying
yeah,
just so your brain can activate like that little folder where you store that word specifically.
Yes.
That is terrible.
No, it's
I mean,
not
I've been there.
terrible.
No, 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 I've been there, but it's funny because your brain makes you feel like it's been like 10 minutes, that
Yes.
you've been there 10 minutes. And you realize it's like, I don't know, you can be there 10 seconds.
Yeah, it was something that if you would have found the right word, it would have taken you 3 seconds to say.
Yeah.
And
So,
suddenly it's like 8 Doritos later.
yeah. And you're just like repeating, like trying to make a point, and people are just like staring at you, and you're like,
Oh, who cares?
yeah, it's funny. Mm, Pavel Hordiniak was saying, after 10 years of working in digital as concept artist, I took oils this year.
That's awesome.
So far, oil mixable,
Water
Windsor.
mixable? Oil?
Well, they're saying oil mixable,
Okay, so
Windsor
maybe water
Newton.
mixable.
YouTube made my brain hurt with conflicting information about solvents.
Yeah?
They're saying,
You don't have to use them, Pavel.
Liad was saying, Pavel, if you want some help with that, I'm happy to help you. And Pavel was saying, sure, thanks, sure. My quote unquote studio is my bedroom, and I have two little kids running around.
Hmm.
I would love to try traditional oils, but each quote unquote safe solvent, according to one person, is unsafe according to someone else.
Hmm. There is solvent. The simple answer here, Pavel, it's that there are solvent-free options out there. So you can find mediums that are solvent-free. For example, there is an alkyd medium, an alkyd gel that Gamsol, that not Gamsol, Gamblin, Gamsol, that Gamblin makes, that's called Galkyd, which is very good, and it doesn't have solvent. So yeah, I totally understand you, especially if you have kids. Like that was something that stopped me from working. I it was funny. I We met in at Mother's Day, that my sister made like lunch for all of us family. I mean, like my sisters, and you were obviously with your mother, Danny. But I was there with my mother and my sisters and my nieces and nephews. And my sister invited a friend of hers that I was trying to remember her because we met when my sister was younger. So she met me when I had just gotten back from the U.S. and I was painting at my mother's house, and and she said that she remembers me from that time, and this is like 20 years ago. So,
Mm-hmm.
but she remembered me from that time. But what she remembered was the house stinking of like what is essentially solvent and varnish. Those are probably like some of the things that smell the most. Like if you're using traditional, turpentine, like distilled turpentine, or if you're using Damar varnish, which obviously as a resin has a smell, but also it has to be mixed with solvent. So and I did use the two of those a ton. So she just remembered that she told me that as soon as you got into the house, it smelled like paint, and and that's just a reminder of how when we live with it, we don't smell it. Like for me, years of living alongside it, it made my nose like not work. I mean, it's not that I don't smell a ton of stuff, but regarding paint, I just don't smell, very specific odors that have to do with solvents and resins. Uh, I just don't smell them anymore, and they don't give me a headache, which is very strange. Acetone, for example, kills me. It kills my brain cells. Like I can't stand it. I can't stand like nail polish remover, or which used to be acetone, but now there's like an acetone free nail polish remover, but still smells like acetone, which I can't stand at all. Like it'll give me a headache in like 2 minutes. Sometimes people like we used to take the bus. Like both Danny and I used to take the bus all like every single day, like public transportation every single day. And if there was a woman that was cleaning her nails like in the bus, which is a very normal thing here in Colombia, by the way, that moment, I don't know why women in buses is like, yes, I can clean my nails. I would have to step out of the bus.
Well, because they have time
Like, yeah,
to
yeah.
do it.
So I would have to get out of the bus. Like it would drive me insane. Like my brain would just like completely shut down
Yeah, I
if
think
I
we
had smelled
haven't
that.
said this before, but some weeks ago I was going to travel to Armenia.
Right, right.
Yeah, because we were going to do a ceremony for the ashes of my grandmother.
You were gonna plant some trees,
Yes.
beautiful trees.
Yeah. And the night before,
Yeah.
I remember I told you I want to do some like gel polish so that they can last longer. I don't know. I just wanted to do that. But I did that like right the night before I traveled. I had to travel in like early morning.
Yes, very early.
So I used something that, I mean, it has a strong smell.
Yeah.
It's like to dehydrate your nail so that the polish can last longer. But it's not a polish because I know that the nail polish for you is terrible, the smell.
Yes.
But I had no idea that that smell was terrible for you. And to be honest, you had to go to Samus or Fair's
Yeah, I couldn't sleep
bedroom
in our
because you were
bed.
trying to sleep with a mask on.
Yeah, I put a face mask.
Yeah, but
I
you were
tried
like
a face
super
mask.
dizzy, and you
Yeah.
had to go. I told you like go to the other room. I mean, it's fine. Like for me, it's fine, but because I had no idea that that specific smell was gonna be terrible for you.
Oh no, it's just some that I just can't. I
Yeah.
really really can't take. So yeah, solvents are horrible. It's just that is what it is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Solvents are bad. Like that's just real. For somebody to defend solvents, the use of solvents would be absurd. Would be just absolutely bonkers because there is no scenario in life where you're like, yeah, it's better with solvents.
Hmm.
No, there's not. There's not nothing. Not even like cleaners like in your kitchen. Nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing.
and I know it's. I mean, there's like ways to make it better for you, but it's always bad. Because, I mean, you can have like a very ventilated place
Sure.
where you work and
Sure.
all that can help, but it's still going to be there.
Well,
So,
if you have proper ventilation,
well, like proper, but
like
you talking
industrial
about,
ventilation,
but who
fine.
does in
Yeah,
their
but if it's
house?
your home, like if what Pavel was saying that he works kind of like us,
By
this
the
is
way,
our home.
Powell, I was saying Powell Hordiniak, and they were saying, oh my God, you read my full name perfectly.
Yeah.
So,
I wonder if it's Pavel. Pavel.
it's Pawe and L with a little thing.
Yeah. Where are you from? I'm curious.
Sometimes when I doubt the pronunciation, I go. Sometimes no, I always go with my Colombian accent, or
Yeah.
I
Makes
give it
more
a
sense.
French touch
Oh.
sometimes.
Okay, that's okay.
No, you know that. I always like read a name, and I don't know why my brain
Goes to French.
assumes
Defaults to
it's
French.
yeah, or Spanish accent or French accent. By the way, I don't know French. It's just like how I think French sounds
There we go.
like. So, um, I mean, this time I think I was right. My Colombian accent.
There we go.
Mm, oh, but what I was saying is that you can make things better if you have proper ventilation, but it's still gonna be present. So,
Yeah.
and I think that in that time when you were in your mother's house,
Oh, I just didn't care.
I was gonna say that
And
you were
because
not.
my family was so loving, and my mother being an artist herself, and just everyone just being super cool, they just never said anything.
And I mean, this is think about this being a smell in a house like your mother's house, which is a big house. Now translate that to an apartment. Because imagine that was your practice, like your painting practice nowadays.
No, no way.
Like Chile will be dizzy
No, no. I even
all the
stopped.
time.
I began to stop. The beginning of my the end of my relationship with solvents was when Samu was born.
Yeah.
That's it. Just makes sense.
Yeah.
Just makes absolute sense.
For sure. Yeah. And we have to say that our house does not smell.
I don't think so. But
No.
maybe like paint,
No.
but like oil. No,
You know,
you
I've
wouldn't be able
asked.
to smell
No,
it.
no, no. Because I've asked my parents
Yeah.
and my sister, and no. My sister says something that's very funny,
The bathroom.
that the bathroom smells like pickles.
Yeah.
Sounds weird, but that's the smell for her of liquid.
Okay, probably.
Yeah,
There's
because
a sweetness to liquid that is
yeah, 'cause
very
I've
strange.
I've told her it's because we Nicolas washes the brushes here,
Yeah.
and I made her smell a brush, and she was like, "Yes, that's the pickle," because she's
Yeah.
always like, "It smells like McDonald's pickles," and I'm like, "What do?
Oh God,
what?"
that's horrendous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and she
so it's
does
not
not
my
like.
pee. So it's
She
not
does
my
not.
urine.
No, no, no.
It smells like pickles.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, she does not like pickles.
Urine. Oh.
So or
Nor
urine,
urine.
nor urine. Yeah. So, where were we before? Mm,
I'm gonna say Pavel is Polish. Maybe.
Glenn Roberts was saying, "Hi, Nicolas and Danny. You guys have been live since I woke up this morning at 12:39."
This morning, 12:39.
So
I don't
it's
know how
like
to read that.
12:39, like
It could be either or.
yeah,
To be
like
honest,
very early.
it could be that you
Like
woke up at the middle
borderline
of the night, which
night,
I would
yeah.
say it's not quite morning. I would still call that night. Or you wake up very late.
Which is not
Which
morning.
Is, yeah, which I wouldn't.
is
I would never say at
Afternoon
12.
is a morning.
It's good. I would never say good morning at 12 o'clock to anyone. So, yeah. Mind you, I have 2 kids, so there's no way I'm gonna be team waking up at 12:30
oh,
saying good
your
morning.
kids would be happy.
I don't think they can go that long anymore because just because their body, like their internal, clock is just used to waking up early, because of school.
I think if you give Samu
No, but the
like
other
if he
day.
could play until I don't know 5 a.m. with his
Right, but he
friends.
can't do that in weekdays.
Yeah, no, in weekdays of course.
yeah,
but
but
I
that's
think if you
if.
give him
That's an
one
if.
day, I think he could sleep,
Yeah.
but not just like a constant practice.
No.
But if you give him
What happens
one
to thing
day,
is like a beautiful thing, which is that because he's so used to now, like his body is used to waking up so early, then he gets super frustrated because he gets tired early. And he can't stand it because his friends want to play, like video games like at night, like late at night, and he just gets tired. He just gets super tired, so he gets really pissed at himself.
Cody Winnicky was saying, "I always feel like the makes other feel more comfortable while I'm thinking of what to say, because then they know searching rather than just ignoring them. They know I'm searching rather than just ignoring them."
There you go.
Yeah, it's kind of like what you were saying about the silence and me deciding to fill it with something else.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's something like that. Guy Bailey was saying, "I run a workshop at work today and a transcript was recorded. Painful to see how many I used."
Oh, but come on. I mean, did you know that it was going to be recorded? I have a feeling that if I knew that it was going to be recorded, I would probably talk way slower than I usually do, and I would be very aware of my words.
Yeah, but I have to say that we are now, like, we know the things we're saying more because we're constantly recording things. And I think that you were more aware when you started doing the voiceovers.
Oh, of course, I've stopped caring. Yeah, of course.
But I do remember
unnatural.
Yeah. But I do remember at the beginning that you were like, I say this word, I don't even remember what word or what
Oh, tons of
filler,
words.
but
Yeah.
you're like, I'm saying this like 10 times in a sentence.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I don't care. But at the very beginning, you were like amazed by the
Well,
times
yeah,
you
because
said it.
I had never heard myself talk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So maybe that's what happened to Guy. I mean, if they made a transcript and you just take the paper and see that there's like 1,000
Mm.
or likes or like,
Yeah, but
oh
nobody's
my
like,
god,
it's not like
am I
somebody
that
from the
person?
news is gonna quote you, and it's like, and as Guy said, I would rather
Like
paint it darker. Yeah,
great quote.
yeah.
Great quote, Guy.
Actually, I would
I
love
would
that
get it
quote. I would love
I
that
would
quote.
get that tattooed.
Yeah.
Rosaline Dion was saying, my anniversary was the 14th. We
Woohoo!
did no gifts. I like it that way. Yeah, the thing is that I love giving gifts. But I know that Nicolas is not a person that loves receiving gifts
I
that
don't.
much.
No, I don't.
He feels uncomfortable.
Very
So,
much.
but if it was for me, I could give gifts every day.
I know you. I know you.
And it's not like, oh, I got you this random thing. Like I put my head and heart into the gifts I give all the time. And you do too. But like I enjoy that process.
I mean, not don't make it sound like I don't enjoy it.
No, no, no. But I know that for you it's hard to feel that I'm doing all that process, so you have to receive that gift. It's just like
I just
you're
don't
not
know. No,
comfortable
I'm just
receiving it.
very uncomfortable receiving things.
Yeah.
Very very uncomfortable. It's one of those I have no idea what it means or what it says about me or doesn't say about me. But all my life I'm totally fine gifting other people things. I am but I am incredibly uncomfortable when people say nice things about me or they want to give me something. I just don't feel comfortable.
Mm, and Guy Bailey was saying, haha, I'm on leave for 6 days, I meant. I'm on holiday for 6 days, so I can drink.
There we go. Oh, there we go. Now I get it. And now I get, probably last night was one of those taking advantage of the 6-day leave. Hence the waking up at
No, no,
middle
no,
of the
because that was
day.
Glenn, not
Oh,
Guy. Guy was the one
oh
that
my
was
God.
saying that they could drink for 6 days.
Oh, Glenn should meet Guy then.
And Guy, you can make a drinking game with the transcript
In the
that
next
they
in the
did
next
of
6 you have
you
6 days.
in your work. You can drink for every you said. Rabi Kiwan was saying, hey Nicolas, do you change brushes frequently or do you wash them after each use and use them for a long time? My brushes wear out after only a month of use.
What? Oh, I mean, unless you are like an incredibly expressive painter. 1 month is sounds like too little for a brush. If I have to be very honest with you, so I don't want to sound judgy, but they should be lasting you longer, way longer than that. But
Even
it
if
has to
they're
do.
cheap brushes, I
Yeah,
would
no,
say.
well, but yeah, but that's why I started by saying, maybe you are a very expressive painter, and maybe that's what's true about your work. So if you are, then sure, I get it. Like I've never seen people beat up brushes like very expressive painters, like expressionist painters. They can go through their brushes like crazy, but if you are just like a somewhat traditional painter and they last a month, yeah, I would say we need to check our practice. We need to check what we're doing because they they should be lasting you way more than that. Like
Yeah.
they should be lasting you years.
And not only, I would say, not only the painting practice, like the way they handle the brushes, but the
Like
way they,
cleaning?
yeah, the way they're taking care of the brushes.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, if you use a brush and you just let it like all the night or for 2 days or 3 days with paint or with
Oh yeah, that'll
liquid
obviously.
or with
Yeah.
solvent, then they're gonna just be done in a week.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
But
so I clean my brushes every single day.
yes.
Every single day of my life, I clean my brushes.
Mm, so Pawel was saying, Liat, I meant I would like to try regular oils instead of water mixable, but I would need solvent for first layers, brush cleaning, etc. I mean, you don't need solvent.
No, you can actually clean with oil.
Yes. Or
Uh
soap. You clean with soap.
yeah, but if he's like into this super traditional, like a lot of people want to have like a really really traditional experience with oil paint. So you can just dip your brushes in oil at the end of the session on very industrial grade linseed oil. You'll be super fine, like hardware grade linseed oil, very cheap. You'll be totally fine. Um, and I would suggest just honestly just solvent free alternatives. There's so many nowadays, and they're so good that if you don't want to if you want to try traditional oil paint, and you want to try not water miscible oils, but like actual oil paint, um yeah, just give those mediums a shot. Because if you're also concerned about you having kids and working at a place that may not have proper ventilation, I think I don't need to know anything else about your concerns, or your or the kind of character of the place that you're working. If you are having those concerns, Powell, it means that it's probably not a great idea to subject like kids to a lot of solvent. I mean, if you want to, they're your kids, so I'm not going to tell you what to do with your kids, but I would say that it's if you can avoid it, it's best. So,
Mm, Dana was saying, being able to see your work process and perspectives towards art through this channel is an amazing gift.
thank you.
Mm, Mars Sa was saying, have you become more patient over time with your paintings?
Yes. I think more patient as a person. I mean, in many regards, I'm still impatient, but I would say that overall, as a person, I'm way more patient than I was years ago, and I think it's because of painting, if I have to say.
Alex Binek was saying, or Binek,
Mm-hmm.
was saying, as someone learning Italian, it's extremely impressive to speak two languages while you're painting. Also, Nicolas has kind of a Jersey accent to me,
Oh
not
Jesus!
Spanish.
Oh
LOL.
my God! Terrible. Well, I used to live in Weehawken, so
Yeah.
sadly, there's some truth to what you're saying. Then
But I also find it very cool.
it's not
Like,
cool.
no, but it's impressive that
Nobody
you're the
says
sponge that you
Port
say you
Authority
are.
is cool. It's like nobody's
No, but
ever
you
said that
got
in their
the
lives.
accent of the place you lived for a couple years. But to be honest, you were not born there,
No, no, of
or you
course
were
not.
not there as a kid.
No,
Because I
of
think
course
that
not.
when you're a kid, you get the accent of the place you are, but it's because you're a kid, so it's easier to to teach your brain those things. But it's like even though you learn English here in Colombia,
Yeah.
you got the accent of the place you were living in.
It's not as complicated though. I mean, if you see any Colombian that goes to Spain, they speak in eventually they'll start speaking like
No,
Spaniards.
but it's the same like the same language, but you just get the accent. What
Right.
I'm saying is that you learned
Well, it's
English and then you got to the US and you went to New York and you got that accent. And even if you when you came back, you never lose that accent.
it's just the way you learn. I think it was just the way I learned how to talk. So
No, because you learned here. You learned
no, I
English
learned
here.
English in school, but that's
Yeah.
not learning how to speak.
Well, I
That's
learned.
learning, or no, or
I mean,
that's
I
learning how
learned
to
English
speak, but
in
that's not
school, and
learning how
I'm
to talk.
speaking.
Yeah, but that's not learning how to talk.
Well, I'm talking in English.
I know, but you are of a very different, I'm going to say this, but you're a very different generation than me, because you have podcasts that can kind of give you a sense of what conversational English was. I had from a very like only at a later point in my life, like think about it, only until like 1992, the markets like broadened so that we could get other stuff. We could get like parabolica, we could get cable, we could get all that
But you
stuff.
traveled to the U.S. a lot with
Oh,
your family as a
when I
kid,
was a
and
kid,
you
but I
were
didn't.
talking and
Yeah, yeah,
having
yeah. And I would
conversations.
talk English with my English teacher in school. But I've told you about this. Like, first time I was in New York and somebody said to me, "Hey, what's up?" My brain had no idea how to answer to "what's up." I had no idea. I was like, "What the fuck do you say to what's up?" Like, they were like, "Oh, what's up?" I was like, I don't I don't know. I can say like, "Hey, how you doing?" Not even I can't even think of anything right now, but I knew how I felt at that moment, and I think I said good. I think I was like good
I think you told me
or
fine.
fine.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think I said I know that I responded something that, you know, whomever was talking to me, like a friend from like, first year in school or whatever, they were like laughing and they were like, "Dude, what the fuck? Like, why are you so weird?"
No, and
I
I get
remember
it.
they were like, "Why are you so weird? Why are you saying like that?" Because they never knew, like, if they only heard me speak, they were like, "Oh, this is probably like an American." But my joke was always that people never realized that I was Colombian. They just thought I was like a dumb person that didn't know how to speak properly, because I knew English enough so that they would say, "Oh, he's American."
No, and
But
because
I
of
was
your accent
but I
too,
was
because you
weird
have like a
enough.
natural accent.
Right, but it was weird enough for them to say like, "What the fuck? Like, why is this dude not able to speak properly?" And then it was like, "Oh," I would always go like, "No, this is not my first language." And they were like, "Oh, okay." But I remember there was a dude. I was like, "I just thought you were stupid." I remember he told me, "I just thought you were stupid." So so it is, yeah. So talking, like actual talking, is so different than just learning a language. It's a completely different world. And my actual talking was, I learned that in New York. So I don't know. Those were the sounds that I associated with talking. So that's probably why it just kind of shows up, I guess.
Mm,
We're nearing the end,
of what?
Daniela.
Of times?
Of times? Yeah, maybe. That also.
Catherine was saying dude. I
Dude.
can't say dude, for example.
No,
I
I
say
say
I don't
it.
no I it always sounds weird in me. It's like dude, dude,
Yeah, I don't like that
dude,
dude has become something that's like or
dude.
guys. Oh, hey guys. It's like an excluding word. Like I get it, but I don't. Like this is one of the things where I am super open and very understanding, but there are certain things that I just find that are not offensive at all, or they're just like they come from a good place of love and for me to say dude, I'll say dude to a girl or to, whatever gender. I'll say it like until the day I die, I think. Because it's just like, dude, what the fuck, dude? It's like interjection. It's like, dude, dude. Oh, dude, what the fuck? Like to me,
Why
it's
do you always add what the fuck to
because it's
dude?
like, dude, fuck. Dude, what are you doing?
I don't know. I
Oh,
just
dude.
don't. I'm not a cursing person, so
Yeah.
I would
Oh,
never.
I wouldn't
Oh,
understand that
you
as
are, and
cursing.
that's the
I
thing.
wouldn't
You
understand
are
that as cursing.
in English.
Yeah,
You're way more
maybe.
grosero. I don't know how to say that.
Corsair.
Unpolite. No, how do you say
Um,
that? Like you
uh,
use cursing a lot more than in Spanish, because you
I don't know.
don't
I
in
don't know.
Spanish.
Well, I
But in
tried.
English, you're like, "Ah,
The thing is, in
like
Spanish,
you just
when
go
when
there.
my when my kids were born, although that only happened in house, because if you ask people at the university, they they all know that
Oh, I know
I would
that. When you
curse
go to a
quite a lot.
bar, you curse.
I curse a lot. Yeah,
Or when we
there's
go
moments
to
that I'm
see our
like,
friends, you curse.
oh yes, because I've held it tight for so long that I let go. I have to let go. I have to let it go, or I'm gonna burst. So I
Mm.
need those moments where I can be like, fuck me. Jesus Christ, fuck me. Um, But what were we talking about?
No, I was trying to read Catherine's question. So I said, dude.
Oh,
And you
dude. Yeah, I'll say it. I'll
So,
say it a
dude,
thousand times.
that
Uh,
long search for the right word happens to me in my native language. LOL.
there we go. See?
Yeah.
No, but I was gonna say something
That when
after that.
Samu was born,
No.
you
That I made
thought
an effort. Like I remember their mother telling me, like, you curse a ton. Just make a fucking effort. Well, she didn't say
make a
fucking
fucking, yeah,
effort.
that,
She didn't say make a
what's
fucking
that
effort.
laugh, Nico?
I don't know. It was funny, but she didn't say make like fucking effort. But she was like, hey, it's not cool that your son is gonna grow up like listening to you curse. And I totally agreed with her, and I made an effort.
Good that you
I did.
made
I
an
did agree,
effort.
and I made an effort. So when I was with both Samu and Fer when they were younger, now I wouldn't curse at all. Now they like to curse.
They just find it
I
like
know, but as a kid, it's
like they're
so.
defying. No,
I
como se
know.
dice?
Yeah, defiant,
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah,
defiant. So
yeah. Fer is loving. Fer
yeah,
wants to like she'll hear us having a conversation, and I may curse, like I may use some word or whatever,
and she just repeats
and she'll
that
be
word.
like, "Oh, does that mean that I can curse now?" And I'm like, "What the hell are you
No,
talking
and
about? What
you
the
know
fuck are you
the
talking about,
the
Fer?
the day that I was braiding her
Fucking A.
hair,
Yeah,
that day you told her not to curse,
yeah.
and she was telling me, "I wish my dad knows how I speak to my friends in
Oh,
school,
yeah.
'cause I
No, I
curse
don't want
all
to
the
know.
time."
Yeah, I don't want to know.
And she told me, "I know that you don't curse here." And I was like, "No, Fed, I don't curse. I personally don't like cursing. Sometimes I curse. Sometimes, for example, you told me when I was working at the bar,
Oh,
I used
Jesus
to curse
Christ.
more."
I would leave you. I would be like, "Oh, Danny's off to work," so she would leave at like 6 in the afternoon, something like that, right? six
Kind of,
thirty,
yeah,
yeah.
because of the traffic, yeah.
And she would get home like at 4:35 in the morning, something like that. But I would be kind of asleep, but she would want to tell me how her night went. So she would start talking to me at like 5 in the morning, which is fine. Like I didn't like I would wake up super early, so I it's not as if I would tell her like, "Oh, shut up, I'm trying to sleep." But she would start talking, and I'm like, "What the fuck happened to your mouth? Like, look at the mouth on you now."
Yeah, because you know me and I don't curse
Yeah. So it
regularly.
would be funny. I would
It
just
was,
make fun of
yeah,
it. I would
yeah,
just
yeah,
make
yeah.
fun of it. But
Yeah, but
but
I
yeah, you
remember
would
that.
curse. You would. I'm guessing all the girls and everyone in the bar would curse like constantly, so that you just know that that's
Yeah,
how
it was
you
more
talk.
what I was listening to, because I
Yeah.
think I was not cursing there.
I assure you that that's also how you would answer,
N-
because that's
No, but I wouldn't answer to someone buying something
no,
like
no, to
that.
like
It's
your
not
fellow,
like
no, to like
F you.
no, to
No,
like
I
your
mean,
friend bartender, to the meseros, to the
no, but in the bar I was working, there was just the
oh,
bar.
just the bar.
So, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so it's your girlfriend bartenders. I'm sure that that's how it's like a dynamic. You establish a dynamic, and you're like, okay, yeah, that's how we're talking.
Yeah, but
So
I told you, it's like, it's not something I like. Like, it's fine if you do it, but I don't like it in me. Because
oh,
I don't know, I never use cursing words. I feel like,
no, with me, very rarely. It's
no.
super rare if
And with to you, never.
no.
Because
I
you're
don't
saying with
no.
me, no. To you, never.
Yeah, no.
And you to me, never.
No, never.
I mean,
Fuck no.
that would be the last time.
The last fucking straw.
What were we saying,
Well,
Nicolas?
I was about to say that I think we're good. I think we're
Okay, okay.
done. Um, this is the
Jeff was saying, I'm sorry, that laugh was pretty evil. Yeah, when you were laughing. Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, this is the state that we're gonna leave this painting at. I think it's precisely what we were searching for at the beginning, which is pretty good. And hopefully it shows how the drawing was necessary so that in order to lay in every one of these decisions that we've put down right now in this session, but it wasn't such a let's say like a definitive plan, so much so that the decisions that I took, that I was trying to take when painting boldly, were conditioned, in a in a strong sense by those initial drawing marks. So I would never want that to happen. If I want to see myself as a reactive painter, as a painter that can have like some sense of freedom while I'm establishing like this very active instance of a painting, the last thing I want is to have like a drawing that actually paints me into a corner, that makes me or robs me from the ability to be reactive, to be bold. So so how I use it is just a way of saying like, okay, I know where that arm is going to be. I roughly know where this arm is going to be. I know things that I need to change. I think it's nice, and if you guys want to see it, if you want to go back and see it like real time, the way the head was drawn initially and how we just slightly shifted it without even kind of barely doing anything to it, but it was an actual drawing change. You should check it out because it was just done with drawing marks, with painting mark. I'm sorry, with big bold painting marks, and I think that the hands are also established at this moment in a very very open kind of free way. So that is a very good thing for me. If I can sense that there's like a nature of a hand in there and in here and in here, and I can sense handness. Yesterday we were speaking about sort of like the essence of things, and we were referring to like fairness. If I can sense handness in all these like color marks here, that is the perfect place to say, okay, now I can get into them and break them up a little bit, as much as you can, as much or as little as you can. Because for some people, they could say, like, dude, that's done. Like, that is what I want with my painting. I want it to live in this stage. And then that's great. That's your painting. For me, depending on what I want to paint and depending on what I want to get out of my painting, I'll either stop like I did yesterday because I thought it was a very raw painting that was beautifully describing what I wanted to speak about, Fer. But depending on what I want, I'll either judge it as a place that I should stop, or I'll just tell myself, you know what, keep going. Like, be bold now so that you could be careful later and then have those two meet, by the end. And that is the painting that I want. So for today, this was great. This is great because it gives me a big sense of what my painting is going to look like. So there's no surprises now. There shouldn't be any surprises. I shouldn't. If you're doing this, you shouldn't. I mean, anything can happen, but you shouldn't be painting something and then 2 weeks later say like, oh fuck, my composition is off, or why is my drawing so off on this? It's like, what? Why didn't you notice it 2 weeks ago? Like, it's crazy. You had everything laid out. Why didn't you see it? So it's super important for me to now, well, what I'm going to do now is when we stop is step back a little bit and actually take a real look at my painting, because I have a sense of it, but I'm like 8 inches from my painting. Yeah, probably. I'm like 8 inches from my painting, and that's not enough to gather, like, to have a good sense of what the image actually looks like. So I'm going to step back, I'm going to look at it, I'm going to see the things that I need to be careful with when I keep painting. And yeah, but this is very hopeful, let's say. Like, seeing it like this, I'm very happy with where it is, and I'm like, yes, that is a hell of a good first step. And it doesn't take a lot to do a good first step. Like, good beginnings in paintings, which I consider way more useful and more valuable than a good finish. Good beginnings are very basic. They're very fundamental. They are almost like, painting where you strip out all the complicated things about painting practice or technique, and you just concentrate on composition and value and like simple color theory. So you take just the simplest notions of picture making and that's what you're doing in that session. When you see your image be when you see that your image can be solid within those very simple terms, you are doing a great job. Like that is going to be a solid image for sure. There's like no doubt in my brain. I mean, you could fuck up your painting at any point during your painting, but if you are careful enough to build upon what you've already, established and worked hard to achieve, then there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to say like, okay, this is a really good first step. So now that I'm looking at it with some sense, or the sense that I think my image has, based on what I can um, assume from my painting, let's say from these 8 inches, um, I think we're good. I think we're doing good. So I'm gonna be very happy to tackle this and redraw on it so that we can start to flesh it out a little bit more. But yeah, that was today's session, Daniel Lira.
Yes.
I have to do some packaging for today so that tomorrow we can ship some paintings.
Yes. So do you want to say bye?
I'll say bye. Yes, thank you all for hanging out with us today on this early-ish stream.
No.
No,
My
early-ish.
fault
No, it's
again,
either
but
no. I say early because we either do it before lunch for us or after lunch. So this was before lunch technically. So, um, if you're unfamiliar with what we do, please check our other videos in our channel. We have around over 640 videos in our channel. A lot of them are edited videos. A lot of them are also live videos that you can check out. But we invite you to check out the edited videos. They're around 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes in length. So if you only have like time for to watch a video, of that length, those can be super cool.
if you even have less time, there's shorts.
Or there's 2x, in the playback speed.
Well, no, I was trying to plug the short
Or you can
videos,
plug
but
the shorts. Yes, the shorts are like a bite size introduction to what we do, and I think they're super valuable for the people that are unfamiliar with our channel and unfamiliar with all the effort that we've put into the things that we've done. So, yeah, if this is your first time here, we invite you to subscribe.
yes. Visit our
And
website.
yeah, and if you like what we do in terms of the paintings that are being produced, our channel is not big enough so that we can make a living off of it. We don't really think it'll ever come down to that, and we actually, I actually think that it's very beautiful. I'm not saying that Danny doesn't, but this is something that's very personal to me. I actually like that it's a very small channel in terms of how YouTube channels usually are, how big they are. This is a very small channel, but it gives us a chance to know the people that show up and are part of our community and part of our very active comments, and we recognize the people that are in the community, and when we see them, for example, purchasing a painting, it feels different because it feels closer to home, I guess. So we're very appreciative of having this kind of having been able to carve out like this very like small, nice community that is incredibly generous. So if you want to check what we do, we have a website. It's called ourpaintedlives.com. And yeah, this painting, alongside other work that we have done and that we will do, is going to be available for purchase over there. And that's about it.
Yes.
So
thank you, everyone.
thank you all.
And
We'll see
you soon.
you. Yeah, I don't know if tomorrow,
Okay. So
which is
soon.
totally fine because this won't be dry tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we can let this dry for a little, longer. Maybe on Thursday we can pick this painting up again. For sure on Friday. But tomorrow it's probably like an easier day for me because then I can start something different. But I don't know if we can record or if we could be live. So
Okay.
yeah. So, but it's gonna be fun to tackle this painting once it's dry. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that.
Yes. So we'll hope to see you here for our
Soon.
next
Yeah.
live stream,
Yeah.
and have a great
Ring the
day.
bell so that you are notified
Notified.
of when we go live.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone.
Thank